Every morning, 147 million people open Instagram and see the same thing. A guy standing in front of a Lamborghini telling you that you're broke because you don't wake up at 4 in the morning. A woman on a yacht saying your mindset is the only thing standing between you and millions. A self-made entrepreneur explaining that he started with nothing, just a small loan of $50,000 from his parents and connections to 3 venture capitalists. They all have the same message. Success is a choice. You just need to want it badly enough. But here's what none of them will ever tell you. In 2018, Italian physicists built a computer simulation to test the relationship between talent and success. They created a virtual world with 1,000 people, each given different levels of talent on a normal bell curve, just like real life. Then they ran the simulation for 40 years. The result? The most successful people in the simulation were almost never the most talented. They were the luckiest. Mediocre individuals with fortunate timing consistently outperformed gifted people with bad luck. The researchers concluded, it is rather common to underestimate the importance of external forces in individual successful stories. That's not my opinion. That's mathematics. The self-help industry is worth $14 billion, and its entire business model depends on you believing one beautiful lie, that your circumstances don't matter, only your attitude does. Today, I'm going to show you why that's the most expensive lie you've ever been sold. Let me tell you the story every motivational guru loves to share. Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard and became the richest man on earth. Mark Zuckerberg did the same. Steve Jobs started Apple in a garage. They were visionaries who ignored the rules and changed the world through sheer force of will. The message is clear. College doesn't matter, connections don't matter, money doesn't matter, only your hustle matters. But what they conveniently forget to mention, Bill Gates' mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, sat on the board of directors of United Way alongside John Opel, the chief executive of the world's largest computer company at the time. When that company needed an operating system, guess who got the meeting? Mark Zuckerberg's parents paid for private tutors, a prep school education at Phillips Exeter Academy, and they funded his early ventures before any investor came along. His father, a dentist, had enough money to say, follow your dreams without any financial risk. Steve Jobs' garage startup was funded in part by a $250,000 investment from Mike Markkula, a millionaire who provided not just money but industry connections and business guidance. These are not rags to riches stories. These are riches to more riches stories with the first chapter ripped out. And it's not just tech billionaires. Research from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that the most common trait among entrepreneurs isn't risk tolerance or creativity or hustle. It's access to capital, family money, inheritance, or connections that provide a safety net. When your basic needs are met, it's easier to be creative. When you know you have a backup plan, you're more willing to take risks. The entrepreneurial mindset isn't a personality trait. It's a luxury most people can't afford. This is survivorship bias at its most dangerous. We study the winners and assume their strategies caused their success. We never hear from the thousands who followed the exact same strategies and failed. You know what the obituary of a failed startup looks like? Silence. There's no TED Talk for the guy who dropped out, started a company, and went bankrupt. No podcast appearance for the woman who hustled for 5 years and still works at Starbucks. We only hear from the survivors. And the survivors have a strong incentive to credit their success to their own brilliance rather than their fortunate circumstances. Let me show you what actually predicts success, because it's not what the gurus are selling. A groundbreaking study from economists at Johns Hopkins and New York University looked at genetic potential versus family wealth. They measured something called a polygenic score, basically a genetic indicator of educational aptitude. Here's what they found. Genetic potential is distributed almost equally between rich and poor families. Nature doesn't care about your zip code. Talent is everywhere, but success is not. Children with the highest genetic potential born to low-income families graduate from college at a rate of 24%. Children with the lowest genetic potential born to high-income families, 27%. Read that again. Less gifted rich kids outperform more gifted poor kids. It's not about potential, it's about opportunity. The researchers put it bluntly. If you don't have the family resources, even the bright kids, the kids who are naturally gifted, are going to have to face uphill battles. But it gets worse. Harvard economist Raj Chetty's Opportunity Atlas project analyzed data from 20 million Americans and found something stunning. The single best predictor of a child's future income isn't their intelligence, their work ethic, or their grades. It's their zip code. The neighborhood you're born into shapes your future earnings more than almost any other factor. A child born in certain parts of San Jose has a dramatically different life trajectory than a child born in certain parts of Detroit. Not because of talent differences, but because of the opportunities, schools, connections, and safety nets available in each location. Your destiny was largely written before you took your first breath. Now, does hard work matter? Of course it does. You can't succeed without effort. But hard work is necessary, not sufficient. It's the entry ticket, not the winning lottery number. Think of it like this. Imagine success is a 10-floor building. Hard work might get you from floor 1 to floor 3. But if you were born on floor 7, your starting position matters more than how fast you climb. The motivational industry sells you the illusion that everyone starts at floor 1. They don't. Some people are born in the penthouse. And they have the audacity to look down and tell everyone else they're just not climbing hard enough. So if circumstances matter more than mindset, why does a $14 billion industry exist telling you the opposite? Because selling you the truth doesn't make money. The self-help industry is brilliant. Here's how the business model works. Step 1. Make you feel inadequate. You're not successful yet because something is wrong with you. Your mindset, your habits, your morning routine. The problem is internal, which means the solution must also be internal and purchasable. Step 2. Sell you the solution. A book for $25. A course for $197. A seminar for $2,000. A mastermind for $10,000. Each promising that this is the thing that will finally unlock your potential. Step 3. When it doesn't work, blame you. You didn't follow the system correctly. You didn't want it badly enough. You let limiting beliefs hold you back. Buy the next level. Try again. A 2015 study found that consumers of self-help books actually show higher stress and more depressive symptoms than non-readers. The constant message that you should be happier, richer, more productive, and that failure to achieve this is your fault, creates a cycle of inadequacy and consumption. The only people guaranteed to get rich from self-help are the people selling it. Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within seminar costs up to $3,000 per ticket and generates roughly $9 million annually. Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, Gary Vee, they're not rich because their advice works. They're rich because selling hope is the world's most profitable business. Here's the cruel irony. These gurus tell you that complaining about circumstances is a loser mentality. That blaming external factors means you're not taking responsibility. But acknowledging reality isn't the same as making excuses. A cancer patient who recognizes they have cancer isn't being negative, they're being accurate. And accurate diagnosis is the first step to effective treatment. When you believe that mindset alone determines outcomes, you don't fight for systemic change. You don't demand better policies. You don't build communities or support systems. You just buy another book about thinking positive. That's exactly what the system wants. So what should you actually do if the game is rigged? First, stop blaming yourself for systemic problems. If you're working hard and still struggling, that doesn't mean your mindset is broken. It might mean you're facing real structural barriers that no amount of positive thinking will solve. Recognizing this isn't weakness, it's clarity. Second, play the hands you're dealt strategically. Hard work matters, but smart work matters more. Don't hustle in a vacuum. Build real skills that have market value. Find industries where your specific circumstances are advantages, not obstacles. Network not for motivation, but for actual opportunities. Third, invest in changing your circumstances, not just your mindset. Move to a better opportunity area if you can. Change your environment. The research is clear. Location matters. Social connections matter. Being around successful people matters, not for motivation, but for access. Fourth, be deeply skeptical of anyone selling transformation. The guru who claims to have the secret? Ask how they made their money. If the answer is selling courses about making money, that's not a success system. That's a pyramid scheme with better marketing. Real mentors share knowledge freely. Real teachers don't promise miracles. Real success rarely looks like Instagram. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The motivational industry has convinced us that acknowledging the role of luck, privilege, and circumstance is somehow incompatible with personal responsibility. That's false. You can work hard and recognize that the playing field isn't level. The research is overwhelming. Success is a combination of talent, effort, and circumstances are often the heaviest weight on the scale. This isn't pessimism, it's realism. And realism is the foundation of effective strategy. Stop watching videos of millionaires telling you to wake up earlier. Start examining the actual systems that create and limit opportunity. Stop buying courses from people who got rich selling courses. Start building real skills and real connections. The gurus want you to believe that your zip code doesn't matter, your parents' income doesn't matter, your race and gender don't matter. Only your mindset matters. The data says otherwise. And I'd rather build my strategy on data than on inspiration. Next week, we're covering the time trap. Why the way you think about your 24 hours is costing you more than you realize, and how the rich actually buy time while the poor sell it. It's not about productivity hacks. It's about a fundamental shift in how you value your existence. I'm Man. Stop buying the dream. Start building reality.